Hey guys, in this section we're going to talk about probability and odds in favor. So I have the notes up and I'm looking at some questions here from the self-check. So find the probability of selecting a red marble from a jar that contains 5 red marbles, 6 yellow marbles, and 5 blue marbles. So when we're talking about probability, we are looking at this formula. I'm going to just make a copy here so I can pull it in. So I want number of favorable outcomes divided by number of possible outcomes. That's the formula for probability. So if I'm selecting a marble, I want a red marble. That's what I want. That's the favorable outcome. And so I'm going to have 5 red marbles to choose from. And then the bottom is possible outcomes. So there could be a chance I draw a yellow marble or a blue or a red. So I want to add how many marbles there actually are on the bottom. That's my possible. So out of all the marbles, there's 16. And I want a red one. So there's a 5 out of 16 chance that I will draw a red marble. And that's my answer. I can't reduce this anymore. So it's just 5 out of 16. But if you could reduce, you would. So this next question is the same. We're drawing marbles out of a jar. So possible outcomes is how many marbles do we have? So 5 plus 7 plus 6. And then our favorable outcome is what we want. So we want the probability of selecting a purple marble. So there's 5 that we would like out of this total. So 5 over 5 plus 7 is 12 plus 6 is 18. Again, if I could reduce this, I would, but I can't. So I'm going to leave it like that. So find the odds in favor of getting all tails on 10 coin tosses. So this is something different. Let's see where it talks about odds in favor. So find the probability, find the probability. Oh, here we go. Okay, so odds in favor for an event and against an event. So we're going to look at this one. Sorry, I knew that we were talking about this. So we want favorable outcomes over unfavorable outcomes. But first, we need to figure out how many outcomes are there. So we are flipping a coin 10 times. So think about flipping a coin. We have heads, we have tails. There's 2 options. So I'm going to use the counting principle. On my first toss, there's 2 options. On my second toss, there's 2 options. On my third toss, there's 2 options. And we're going to multiply these. So all the way, my 4th toss, 2 options. So we're going to do 2 times itself 10 times. So in a calculator, I'm actually going to put 2 to the 10. Those are how many options we have. So 1024 is our number of outcomes. So my fraction here, I need to look at the favorable outcomes and then the unfavorable outcomes. So what I'm looking for is all tells. So tells, 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 tells. There's only one way to get that because it's all the same. So my number of favorable outcomes is 1. And so how many unfavorable? Well, I'm going to take that 1 away from my total outcomes. So there's 1,023 unfavorable. So there's one way to get tells 10 times. There's 1,023 ways to get anything else. So these, what's really important here is these two numbers, they add to the total number of outcomes. So 1 plus 1023 is 1024. So my odds would be 1, the numerator, to 1023, the denominator. Find the odds in favor of rolling the same number when rolling a pair of dice. So same thing here, I'm looking for odds in favor. And first, I just need to find the total outcomes, like what we did before. So when I'm rolling a pair of dice, this is in your notes, we're talking about odds of total outcome. Where is it? Okay. So when you roll a pair of dice, 2 dice, you have all of these outcomes. Here they're all listed out. There's 6 by 6. So there's 36 possible outcomes. And this is something you should probably write down. So when you're rolling a pair of dice, you have 36 possible outcomes. You could roll any of these. You could roll a 5 and a 5, a 5 and a 4, 3 and a 5, 2 and a 2. Okay, so when I'm talking about odds, we know that these numbers, the numerator and the denominator, they're going to add to 36 because that's our total possible. But we need to look at favorable and unfavorable. So find the odds in favor of rolling the same number. So that is 1 and 1, 2 and 2, 3 and 3. I'll write those down. So I want to roll 1s, I want to roll 2s, I want to roll 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s. So that outcome, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 favorable outcomes. So that means that there's 30 unfavorable because these have to add to 36. So 6 over 30 can be reduced. These both divide by 6. So 1 over 5. And you guys remember, if you're like, oh, I suck at reducing fractions, use your tools. Oops. 6 over 30 reduces, use the fraction button to 1 over 5. Okay, so that means my odds would be 1 to 5. We take the numerator first. 1 to 5. Okay, find the odds in favor of rolling the sum of 4 when a pair of dice is rolled. So pair of dice, we have 36 total outcomes. That's just something you're going to have to remember. Okay, so let's look at our odds in favor. So number of favorable outcomes, number of unfavorable outcomes, and know these two numbers have to add to 36. So I want a sum of 4. So if it helps, you can go look through these numbers and look at all of them to add to 4. I'm just going to think about it. I know if I roll a 1 and a 3, those are going to add to 4. If I roll a 3 and a 1, yes, those are two different rolls. First dice, second dice. Those add to 4. And then a 2 and a 2. So this one I don't have to write twice because it's the same number. So that's 3 different ways to roll a sum of 4. That's my favorable outcome. So to get the unfavorable, I take 36 minus 3. Because remember, these have to add to 36. So there's 33 unfavorable. This fraction reduces to 1 over 11. So my odds in favor would be 1 to 11. And that's it for this section.